Hello and welcome. So today I do want to work some more on my scavenger hunt journal, and I did want to show you I did do this awesome page here where I did some doodles of like different plants and stuff and did some watercoloring. A lot of the doodles I did had some inspiration from this book that I found for $10 at Barnes & Noble called The Botanical Artist by Francois Balsan. Francois is such a fun name to say. But yeah, it just kind of goes over how to watercolor different plants and stuff. And lately I've been really interested in watercoloring, which is not something I've ever really practiced much before. Like for example, this flower is actually this flower here. And then I was also kind of looking at it for roses. There's a page about roses in here. Here. Where it had like the labels on it, the petal, the sepal, the calyx, and the petole. Please don't make fun of me, I'm probably not saying them right. But I know that there was supposed to be a botanical of some sort in this journal, so I ended up doing it with this rose that I painted. And then I used bubble wrap, just a simple square of bubble wrap with some ink on it. I just used some Imprints ink with some bubble wrap, and that's how I got the really pretty pink dots. And then I used some different stamps. I got some mark making stamps because Dee Dee had gotten some whenever she was originally telling us her idea for her ATC swap. She had gotten these really cool stamps that look like this. Hold on one second while I grab them. They look like this. She got them on Amazon. Whenever you look up Egyptian stamps, for some weird reason these stamps pop up, which these are not very Egyptian at all, but I like them. So I ended up getting them too because I loved them. So I did want to work some more in here today. I do have just one page here that I'm not really sure what to do with right here. But I'm just kind of leaving that for a different day. I did put some mushrooms on this page, and I also put the logo to my Etsy shop here, which is the Creative Kesh shop. Right now there's really not much on my shop, but I did go ahead and put that there just because it is one of the requirements. So today what I wanted to do is I have this awesome blank page here. And what I would like to do is I would like to do some jelly printing today. So I was going to use this page for some jelly prints. And what I wanted to do is do a jelly print background. And then I was going to draw a lemon and some lavender along with this awesome drink that I had one day. So this is called a Lavender Haze, and you can get these at what is that restaurant called? It just left my mind. That tends to happen sometimes when you're recording. It's a brunch spot. What is the brunch? First Watch. Yeah, at First Watch they have a Lavender Haze lemonade that I love. So excuse me. Excuse me again, my goodness. So I wanted to do this, and I thought maybe we could draw a lemon and some lavender also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jelly print this page, but then I'm going to do this on watercolor paper. So I was hoping that we could do all of that today. So we will see if I have enough time to do that or not, but I am going to go ahead and put some paper down here so that we don't accidentally slop it all over everything, because jelly plates can be quite messy, but lots of fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do something like this. So that way we can try to protect our pages some. There we go. And what I thought we could do with the jelly plate is use like a color palette, which I'm going to make up the color palette because I know that I want purples and golds in it, and maybe a green of some sort. And then we're going to use some stamping and stamp around the edges to create a border, and then stamp the jelly in the middle and see what we come up with. So let me get my jelly plate out. I moved my jelly plates, that's right, because I have them right here now. Alright, so I've got this big square guy, but this square is not going to cover this whole page, which is why I thought we could use some stamps for a border. And it looks like this is kind of a smaller area, so we need some smaller plant ones. So just give me one moment and I will take a look at that. So I found these nice looking botanical ones. They're very delicate looking. I'm pretty sure my mother-in-law gave these to me. They're from Stampin' Up, a celebration of flowering fields. So I think we'll definitely use this one because it looks like lavender, and I kind of like this one. And then we might also use the little butterfly. The rest of them I'm just gonna put back in the case for now. I had to pause for a moment because I had to put them together. I've never actually used these ones before. So this will be exciting. So unlike usually whenever you do stamps, I'm not going to be using ink for this. I'm going to be actually using the paint from the Gelli plate. So let's get set up for some jelly plating fun. I'm going to just stick that there. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my jelly plate out. And I'm going to stick to purples, stuff like that. Because I really want this to be very pretty and light. So give me a second to, oops, I didn't quite get that clean last time. That's okay, it just peeled right off. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at my paints real quick that I have. And I've got this lovely purple that I think would look good. I've got, let's see here. We could do this purple too if we wanted to. We wanted gold as well. Here's a gold acrylic. Let's see. I wanted to do the pink that I have too, because I have a big old pink. I think that would look good as well. Let's do these 3 colors. Well, no, let's do 4 because I would like to kind of make a design with it. So I'm gonna get out a roller. I wonder if my big roller, I think my big roller might be okay for this. So, and then I'm also gonna need a brayer off sheet. So let me grab some sheets of paper real quick. For my brayer off sheets, I'm just going to use regular paper. So I'm just going to have that elsewhere on a paint rack that I have next to my area. That way I can just very easily brayer off where I have room. Okay, so let's do a pattern here. Let's do purple. Purple. This purple. Pink. And then a fat old docket of gold in the middle. And what I'm hoping is that this will create stripes because one of the things in here is to do stripes. So I think that should be a really pretty colorful palette to put behind here. So let's try it. Uh-oh, why is my brayer not rolling? That's always a problem. Oh, there we go. Now it's rolling. I'm not really sure why it's not rolling on the actual thing, but that's okay. All right, something like that. I'm just gonna brayer off real quick. My brayer off sheet's really funny because this thing is, my tower is kind of got speckles on it. But anyway, so let's start by stamping first. I'm just gonna go ahead and take my stamp and squish it down. And then pretty one right here. Yeah, that's pretty. And then we'll do another one right here. Ooh. Okay. So we'll squish this one right here. It's a little bit milkier, but that's okay. And then let's do the opposite, going up and down right here. Another one right here. Like that. And then I'm gonna set that to the side for a second, and I'm gonna use this one to go up and down. So I've got it right here. That one's a little bit more delicate. I can't really see that one as well, but that's okay. And then we can do up and down right here. Oops. And then lastly, up and down here. Like that. And then I'll take my butterfly and I'll just take up the remaining spots. So I think this will be a cute butterfly right here. Boop. 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 And let's do here. Boop. Okay. So just like that. And then what I have now is on my jelly plate, I've got a bunch of paint here. But it also still has those stencil patterns on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently turn it over. And I'm going to do my best to get toward the middle and just plop her down. I'm just going to press down everywhere I can. I'm going to put an extra piece of paper here, and on that paper I'm going to kind of do some mess arounds on here. A little bit of smack and drags too, maybe, just to get some of that paint off. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is pull this up and see what happens. Okay. So that did give us a cool pattern, and it gave us some stripes, which is what I was hoping for as well. Try to get the rest of this paint off of it. Whee! Just kind of smoosh it off. go. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe off my jelly plate with a baby wipe. Where did I put those at? I've done some rearranging in here lately because I was cleaning. I'm not quite sure where I put some of my stuff. Let's see here. Baby wipes, baby wipes, baby wipes. Where did you go? Oh, you're there. So I'm just gonna take a baby wipe to this. From what I understand, you're supposed to clean them with like baby oil. I'm using 1/2 of the word, haha. But that's okay. So I'm just gonna wipe this puppy off so that we can put her away. And this is only really my 3rd time playing with a jelly plate. Can you believe it? But it's pretty fun. I like them. I like to watch other people play with them too. So I can do so many crazy things with them. All right, so I've got this cleaned off now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put it away. And oh, let me show you my brayer off page too, because my brayer off page looks really cool. So this is my brayer off page. And because my shelf has sort of bumps on it, it kind of did like some bumpy bumps, so it's pretty cool. So give me 1 second to get prepared again and I'll be right back. All right, so I have moved my book somewhere else to dry. And what we're gonna do next is we are going to start to draw our image. Because the idea is what I would like to have is I would like to have this glass with its ice and everything in it. And then what I was thinking about doing is having like a lemon and some lavender kind of next to it. So I do have 2 different images that I can look at for both the painting as well as the drawing. So what we can do now is I'm just going to use mixed media paper. I have watercolor paper, I just don't know where it is, if I'm terribly honest. So I'm not going to worry about it. And then I'm going to take a mechanical pencil, an eraser, and like a regular wooden pencil. What I like to do is I'll use the fat pencil or the wooden pencil to just kind of sketch out the idea, and then I'll put the detailing in the regular pencil. And then after we watercolor this image, what I'll likely do is try to erase the pencil. From what I understand, that is one of the best methods to go by. So I'm going to try that method. And I apologize, I've got different things everywhere I clean, I promise, but like I said, I'm not quite used to where everything is yet, so I've just been making small messes for myself, I guess we could say. So let me go ahead and take a look here. So I'm going to look at the lemon first, and let's see here. I don't want it to be terribly big, and it's okay if it's kind of oblong, because the cool thing about this is it's going to lemons are not perfectly round, so it's going to give it more of a natural look, hopefully. So here we go. And like I said, I don't normally draw in front of people, so I am a little nervous about it. If my drawing ends up being terrible, please don't make fun of me. All right. So we've got ourselves something resembling a circle. So this is going to be our lemon friend. And in the middle of the lemon, we've got kind of this weird looking thing here. Now, I think what I'll do is I'll go around the edges of the lemon like this. And we'll just see where that takes us. Some delicate little lines here. looks like I'm pressing hard because this is turning out a little bit darker than I thought I would, but I'm actually being really light-handed, so this is kind of funny that it's like turning out so dark. So I might not actually need the other pencil if it keeps doing it like that. Okay, so we've got that there. And I am the worst about hand smudging. Give me 1 second. I'm actually gonna get something that's gonna help me with the hand smudges. One moment. So on Amazon for like $3 or $4, you can get these awesome things that fit like this. I believe if you just type in anti-smudge glove or something, or like drawing glove, you can get them. They look very dorky, but they're kind of silky, and it's supposed to help prevent smudging, and I am a huge smudger. Like usually I'll end up with like pencil stuff all over my hand. So I wanted to go ahead and get that, and then I'm gonna see how I can draw these. I have never tried to draw lavender before, so maybe what I'll do first is draw a stem. And like I said, I have no idea how this is gonna go. Maybe it should be lower. Let's try doing it lower. Let's make it level with this linen here. Let's do it like right about here. And then we'll do like a little stem. Do just like little bunches. Don't know if these will look right or not. Like I said, I've never tried to draw lavender in my life. So this could turn out, could not turn out, no idea. But I'm gonna give it a go, because the only way I can get better is if I continue to try, right? And I know that it at least has these little guys all over it. So I'm just gonna do something like that. May turn out, may not turn out, we'll see. And maybe what I'll do is as it goes out, I'll make it a little bit thicker. Like more little bulbs. something like that, and I think that'll take care of our lavenders. And then next we need to think about our glass here. So we've got our glass, and for this, let's see here, we're gonna want it to be somewhat tall. We hide some of it behind the lemon, like maybe scoot it over a little bit. I think that's what we'll do, because we're gonna cut it out and we're gonna glue it on. So let's actually put a little bit of it behind the lemon to kind of hide that. Something, if you're not quite sure how you're gonna draw something, you can definitely hide it behind stuff and nobody's gonna be the wiser unless you tell them. Because now I can hide that puppy back there. Like that. And then let's go ahead and do the straw. Those like that. Okay, so this is the other thing that I struggle. I need to do a sideways draw. So I'm a sideways artist. Sorry. I do everything better with a slant. Everything is better with a slant, just like that. Because weirdly enough, it's like I can't measure without doing that, so I apologize. That is how I draw. So, got that in there. And then what we see here is we do have kind of like a rim of this glass, like a lip. So I'm gonna lightly draw that in. And then we have ice everywhere. So what we can do for the ice is, we also have a lemon in here too, it looks like. So this is gonna be our lemon peel. And to make sure that we can tell it's a lemon peel, I am gonna draw just a little bit bigger, like that. And then we've got ice cubes kind of popping up in our cup. So I'm just gonna draw some hint of wavies in here. I'm not going to be really exact with these because I just want to remind myself that they're there, because this puppy was full of ice. And we might not even go as far down as the cup really does in the picture either. So something like that, just to remind us, hey, there's ice there. Okay. So I think that's going to be a good start for our drawing. And I was going to use the mechanical pencil, but it looks like this is dark enough to me. So I say we just kind of go in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull out my watercolors, and we're probably going to start with the lemon most likely. How can I put this to where I can see both on the camera, I wonder? Maybe something like that. still see the lemon? Yeah, okay. So let me go ahead and get that. And some of the things on here, like some of the whites, I'll probably use Posca with. So like little bits like that, I'm mostly going to be concerned with the rest of it. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. Whew, I'm scared. Okay. I've never painted anything like this before. All right. So here is my little tray. I'll probably start with the lightest yellow and work my way down. I'm also gonna want my book that has what colors those are. I'll do that too. Here we go. And the book I'm talking about is just this one right here. It just kind of helps me be able to plan these out. So I've got that, and I'll set that over to the side. And let's take a look at this lemon first. So our lemon is going to be our first priority because it's yellow. Let's see here. Oh, good. I've got plenty of water left, so that's good. All right. Well, here we go. I think what I'm going to do is I might... Part of me is wondering if maybe I should have like a little card or something that I can test the colors on. Let's try that as well. That way, if I don't get it right on the jump, we're not just ruining it. So let's see. That's a pretty light yellow. I like that. So we're gonna go ahead and color the whole thing yellow first. Like a light yellow. To get our layers in here. What I might even do is I might even just put some water on here. I was talking with Devin this morning, and we were talking about wet on wet watercoloring, because I had never heard of such a thing because nobody taught me how to watercolor. I'm learning from you guys. And even if you're not an expert, I'm gonna watch you. But she had said that I should look up wet on wet, and I did. So that's what I'm gonna do right here. So I'm gonna do a bit of wet on wet, just to get that whole yellow blocked in, like that. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to this lemon slice up here as well. Let's do a bit of water here. I'm also going to get a bit of it into that rim as well, because there is a little bit of yellow reflection on the rim. There we go. Whoops. Ah, I pulled a Janet. Sorry, Janet. I know that you said the other day that you always put your hand in things, so I was just joking. Please don't hate me. I accidentally went in there. Luckily, it seems like it's wiping away just fine. Let's take this glove off. We're done drawing. We don't need to look silly anymore. There we go. So, I've got that in there. And then we've got our bit of yellow. Yellow. Okay. Then I'm gonna dry it from really high above, so I'm not making that water go everywhere. So it's just gonna help it dry a little bit. And while that's drying, I'll move on to a different part. So let's go ahead and block in our straw here. What color is that straw? That straw is kind of like a bluish color. So let's do, maybe an aqua color might be cool. Let's use, it says it's emerald deep green, but it looks really not that deep to me. So we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna plop that over here because I already see some of it over here. And this time I'm gonna do it dry because I wanna be able to control it. Because I need to get to these little tiny spaces here. I'm gonna try to be really delicate because I want to be able to do some layers. Uh-oh. There we go. So I'm just gonna do it really, really light at first. Just like that. And then I've got two different kinds of purples. I've got a really dark purple and a violet purple. I'm going to use the permanent violet, I think, for these, but let's do a little pop of green in there. I'm gonna use the same green that I'm using for the straw just to tie that color in. Just popping it in there anywhere I see a stem or anything like that. Just like that. I might actually block that a little bit. That got a little watery there. There we go. Let's try again. There we go. Let's do it really, really lightly like that. I'm not worrying about any of my purples right now, actually, besides just thinking about them, because I'm worried about these other things first. And then I'm just gonna wait for it to dry. All right, so now that's more dry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add even more yellow to our original yellow color. Let's see how dark that is. That is pretty darn dark. So I think that's ready then. Okay. And what I'm gonna do, and this is the color it is I'm just gonna lightly go around the edges, but I'm not gonna touch it all the way. Because I want this to be the edge of the rind. also start going in here and getting these little edges. So let's see here. I might need to mix that in with some ochre for that part. So let's do a lemon wedge up top instead. Some more of that yellow in there. Like that. And then I'm gonna put some ochre and mix a little bit of ochre in there and see what we get. Or I might add some more water to that and just kind of brighten the inside a little bit. Let's see about that. Kind of dilute it a bit. There we go, that might be diluted enough. Let's do this. Feed it some yellow. Feed the beast. Still want to see what happens if we add some ochre to that. So let's get some ochre. Just put like a little bit of it in there. Not a lot, but just enough to kind of give it that orangey tone. And this is a deep yellow ochre, it says, but it's kind of giving me red vibes. But it is darkening it to what we want, which is good. The paper is bending a bit, which is causing it to do some weird stuff, but that's okay. Let's go up here and just do a line of yellow like that and mix some ochre to it, like that. One minute there needs a little bit more yellow anyway. Sure I'm in love with what it's doing like that. Something like that. And then we'll give it a minute to dry. And while it's drying, I think we'll play with that straw again. So straw in there again. And those greens. Whoa, that's a lot darker this time. It's okay, we'll work with it. And then we're gonna let it dry some more. So while our lemon is drying, what I might do is I might switch my focus to, let's do the ice cubes. So with the ice cubes, it looks like there's a lot going on. There's blues going on, there's purples going on, and all kinds of stuff. So I'm a little scared of it, but we're gonna go for it and see what happens. I'm gonna use, it looks like the grays come in a lot, so I'm gonna use black for that. A little bit more than that. There we go. Okay, so that gives me a really light gray. I'm gonna get the edges of this ice cube. And just kind of block it in. A little bit around the edges here. Outer edges here. There we go. Something like that, so we have the gist of what's going on with the cup. And then that one ice cube, this one here kind of has some like funky parts. So I'm just gonna kind of funkify it. Like that. Give it some movement. And then let's see. I think the problem is this just has way too much water on it down here. For this lemon. It's okay. Let's try to hit it with the heat gun again and see what happens. shade there. One spot. Okay, that helps a great deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back around the edges with the regular yellow to make sure that that really pops. And I could be making a ton of mistakes on this. Like I said, not a true watercolorer. Very, very novice at this. So if you have suggestions, I'm totally fine with that. Like if you're like, whoa girl, you made that 100% harder on yourself, I would rather you tell me than I look silly. So you're more than welcome. But I'm just gonna do what I can to try to get it to look right. Something like that. And I'm gonna go up here too, because that part that's on the top part of the glass, I feel like should be brighter than what's in the glass. So we can do that. And then I think I'm gonna take this ochre that I've got here. Let's see. So that's more of an orangey ochre. Let's put some of this yellow in it. Okay, so we're getting there. I wonder if I can just come on, Telemachus. Woo! All right. There we go. Yes, that is what I want. Okay. So let's do something. This. To get our lemon lines in there. This is the first time that I'm watercoloring something hyper-realism like this. And I don't think mine is gonna be super realistic, but I'm trying my best to make it at least to where you will know exactly what you're looking at when you see it. You know what I mean? I want it to be like, yes, that for sure is a lemon in a drink. Really loving what those ice cubes are doing up there, by the way. The ice cubes are almost dry, it looks like, and it looks pretty darn good. Okay, so something like that looks really, really good. And then let's put a little bit of this yellow here, like that. And we're still trying to separate our two yellows down here. So I'm just gonna give it a bit of a help, like that. Yeah, looks pretty good. And then what we'll do is when this dries again, we'll add some more of that, we'll add some more of the ochre to it to try and get it to keep getting juicier and juicier. Probably gonna have a few different layers of that. Okay, and then we'll go back to this color. Let's go ahead and give our straw some more color. And if I go outside the lines on the top part of the straw, I don't really care that much because I am going to be cutting it out. So I can always just fix that. And just like with the lemon up here, I'll need to get a little bit brighter where the lip of that cup is to offset it a little bit. But that'll have to be under the next pass, I think. Okay, so this looks drier now. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with a heat gun again. is I'm going to take some more of that ochre, mix it in with this yellow again to make it even deeper. That's a little bit too... maybe a little dark, but it's okay. So then we're just gonna kind of give it like a layer of random towards the middle. Like that. And maybe around the edges a bit. don't want it to look like an orange is the only problem. So I'm just gonna be a little careful. Like that. And then maybe just a pop of yellow in there. Kind of liked it before I did that, but you know, lesson learned. Okay. Because I'll still be going in on the final product with Posca to add like juicy bits. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of freckling up here. And just kind of dab it. I don't know about you, but I don't know a lemon that is perfectly yellow. There we go, something like that. Okay, and I think we can take another pass at our straw. Yep, that right there is going to be the good color that we need. Alrighty then, just like that. And then I think we are almost ready to get started with our purpley bits. But we're gonna let this dry again and see where it goes from here. We're waiting for this to dry. Let's add a little bit more of that gray color in this part here in front of the lemon. Just because we need to be able to see that that's glass. That's where the edge of the glass is. So we're gonna do it just like that. I think that looks pretty good there. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to first, let me get rid of all this yellow so I quit putting my hands in it. I don't know if you do that a lot, but I've certainly been doing it. So I'm gonna do that. And then going to start working on some purpley bits. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put water on it first. Be really careful about it, because we're gonna get really up close and personal to the straw, but we don't want to be on the straw, because we don't really want that to play. So we're just gonna get it good and watery here. And then I'm gonna take some purple. We're gonna do a violet, which is right next to madder red here. And let's put it right here in the corner and lighten it up quite a bit. And we're just gonna let it be violet. Violet is turning violet. This drink is a very violet-y color. We're gonna just let that violet play. It all up in there. Something like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm just going to brush the water around here. Get it in between the tight little areas without actually touching other stuff. Uh-oh, that yellow's getting in there. It's okay. We're gonna make it work, because we are cool like that. Just gonna get really watery. Hurry up and mix this into it. We're gonna let it do its own swishy stuff. Just like that. I'm going to tear up the page a little bit so I can control where this is going. Go. Sorry, I dropped one of my reference pictures on the floor. Hi. So I'm trying to take it out. Goodness. It's barely have any fingernails there. Okay. So I don't know if I was just on camera or not, but if so, hi. Is if it's going to pool anywhere, I'd rather it pool towards the top where we're going to have that runny lavender at. But we'll see. Very soupy. Just gonna wait for it to stop. Okay, so I think I'm ready for another layer. So let me see how dark this is. It's not drying too terribly dark, so that's okay. All right, so now I'm gonna be more deliberate. And I'm going to put in this deeper purple in here. It's more of a beautiful lavender color. Between these flowers a little bit. I forgot about my ice cubes. I was going to keep my ice cubes a little bit lighter than that. I can see the faint outline of them, so on my next pass I'll make sure to go lighter again. So we'll make this the pass before we go like very, very intentionally around those ice cubes. I'm trying to think about what I can do with the straw, because right now the straw kind of looks like it's in La La Land. It's not really looking like it's in the cup versus out of the cup. So I don't know if I should put like a little hint of purple over it or what I should do to make it, you know, be more inside the cup. I'll have to think about that. We are getting a beautiful color right here. And you might hear my family. It sounds like they just came back in. So if you hear my son, hello, son. I need to do something with that lemon too. So I'm gonna try something. It may turn out, it may not, but I'm gonna swipe a little bit of purple over this lemon like that, just to give it the look of being within the purple. I think I might actually do that to the straw too, just to show that it is in the drink. Because I think that's gonna be the best way to do it, guys. Going in. So scary. Yeah, that already looks better. All right. So that is just giving us the look of it being in there. And then we're gonna go through and do some stuff with those ice cubes here in a minute. This side is more dry now, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna blow it. This time I'm going to intentionally make outlines around those ice cubes.
Are you down here?
I am. How are you?
Daddy said I don't have any games.
That's right. Remember you got in trouble earlier, so you can't play those games right now.
And I even can't play Fortnite.
I know. You can't play any video games because you gotta, you know, listen.
Yeah. What's Mickey doing?
What's Mickey doing?
Yeah. I guess on today. Mickey's on the out.
Oh yeah, he's on your pillow.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah. But you've got lots of toys. You could play with your toys for a bit and just pretend you're playing Fortnite, but with your toys maybe.
Yeah, but Daddy said I still have cartoons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I still have cartoons.
Well, let's wait for Daddy to come downstairs to make sure that's correct. Okay?
Yeah. Wait. My apple juice. I found my apple juice.
That's good.
I forgot it.
Did
Yeah,
ya?
I could be down here for a while.
Okay. There we go. I'm just going around and outlining these ice cubes.
Dad and Mommy,
Yeah, babe?
I have cartoons right now.
Yeah, if you can do that if you want. Do you know where your controller is?
Yeah. I found it on Rowan's bed.
That's a silly place for it.
Yeah, it was high and easy.
Yeah, you can turn it on. Just make sure you turn on the TV too, but keep the volume down, please.
Okay.
'Cause
Are you in a meeting?
No, I'm recording a video.
What, another video?
Uh-huh. You want to see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay, come over here.
What are you making?
What does that look like? Does that kind of look like that drink to you?
Yeah.
Yeah? You think Mommy's doing an okay job?
It's kind of easy, huh?
Easy. I don't know about that.
Is it easy?
No, it's hard.
Why?
Well, Mommy's just never painted like this before. This is brand new.
It looks as easy to me.
Aw, well, thank you. I appreciate that, sweet pea.
Oh.
Hmm?
And I forgot to give me new rods and clams.
Well, honey, you're not playing video games right now. Remember, you're still in trouble, so you can watch something, but you can't play video games right now.
Well, videos are next direction claim.
Okay. Well, I think Daddy's mowing or weed eating or something outside. You know what a weed eater is?
Yeah, I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done this one before. Look at I found a minion.
Mm-hmm.
Look, this is beautiful. I wonder what it's all about.
Probably.
I've never done this before.
I think you have done that one before. It's Despicable Me 4, I believe. All right, in one moment while I go turn that down. All right.
Oh, Hershey.
Now what I think I'll do is some speckling. To kind of give the illusion that there's maybe some divots in the ice. This ice has like little divots in it, I think. So there's like nothing perfect about different stuff like that. So I'm just gonna give it some divots. A little something like that. Just gonna give a little bit more purple here. Like that. Okay. Now, we still need to give the illusion of the darker purple as well. So for that, what I was thinking is we would use the darker purple. So let's take a look at that and see how dark it is. Wow, that is a dark purple. Okay, let's see. Oh, but I think it'll look okay. All right, so let's do just lightly over everything to about there. Get our purple on in these ice cubes. Something like that. Except I want it to be a little bit more watery, so I'm just gonna feather it in to where it blends. Like that. So I've got it going to about mid-top range of cup. And then while we're doing that, we'll also block in these little purple buds down here. looking pretty good so far. Like that. There's a little bit of bleeding with that green, but it's turning into a blue, which is kind of funny. So I'm okay with that. Let's see, so that's pretty wet still. So we're just gonna let it dry for a second. All right, so I think we're ready for another pass. So this time I'm going to dribble some water on here. And we're going to do a pattern to let the water do what it naturally wants to do with this purple, to give it that weird mixy look. Because at the end of the day, it is a purple haze, and we are missing the haze. So let's get that in there. Just like that. And we're gonna let that dry like that and see what happens. But I'm gonna do the same thing over here. The lemon. Be very careful to only go down a certain way. I'm using the reflection of the water to help me understand where we are between these things. So I don't accidentally go over something I'm not supposed to. I think that's good. So let's try adding more purple haze. Looking good so far. It's looking how I was hoping. The only problem is this is a lot of water. So it's gonna take a while to dry probably. And then we're also gonna take a little bit of this purple and put it in the ice cubes up here a bit, like in the reflection. That. I think I want a little bit more purple. This needs to be kind of dramatic, I think. So let's just kind of polka dot some purple. Ooh, that's very dramatic. I like that. It's like giving me Ursula vibes, like from The Little Mermaid. Yeah. Some powerful purple. Just like that. That is a yummy looking cup of something. So let's go ahead and just put some of that deep purple up here too then. Just to kind of give it some fun. Like that. I like that. And then we're just gonna take that purple and do some little divots on this ice again. Just a little bit like that. That way we can kind of see it through. We might need to do a light pass on the straw again, but we're definitely gonna have to wait till that dries some because that is liquidy. I think I'm also gonna put just a little bit of something up here. Like that. On that lemon. Just a little bit of interest here on this straw. There we go. It's making it more interesting there. Hopefully that looks as cool to you as it does to me. It's yum. Might do just a little strip here to outline that piece of ice. Need some divots on this piece of ice too, it looks like. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and come back down here and do another pass of purple. Making it a little bit deeper this time. Just like this. And even though it's not really as defined as I had planned down there, I'm not going to be mad at it because it's just meant to look like lavender. And I think everybody really kind of thinks of lavender as just a purple plant. So as long as it kind of reads what I'm thinking, I'm not really going to be super upset about it. Something like that. And then we're gonna let it dry some more. All right, we're still waiting for the top to drop, or to dry. But I wanted to add a little bit more purple to these because they're not doing it as dark. So let's go ahead and get our little bit of purple here. And go for it. This time I'm gonna make it a little bit darker, but leave the tips alone so that maybe we can have a hint of those things on the top. Remember, we are gonna try to erase the pencil to see what happens. Because apparently that's supposed to add an effect of some sort. So we especially would want to erase it on this lemon. So what I might do is while I'm waiting for that to dry, I could probably go ahead and start with that. So I think I'm mostly done with the paint, I want to say. Let's see what happens if we erase some stuff. Huh. Interesting. So it doesn't erase. Okay. Was not expecting that. In one of my watercoloring books, it said that you could erase afterwards. So those are just gonna stay there, I guess. So I will come back when this is dry and we are ready to cut out. All right, so now it is fairly dry and I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I know it's not perfect, but I think it's pretty darn good for a first shot. So I think this is ready for cutting out. If you're not a fan of watching somebody cut stuff, then you can just skip ahead, of course. But otherwise, let's get cracking. I'm gonna try to fussy cut it as well as I can, because remember, this is going on our pages that we made for our book. Let's get rid of all this excess paper real quick. I'm just gonna do a rough cutting just to make it a little bit easier, and then I'll cut it out for reals. It's looking pretty good so far. I don't think I've made any cuts I can't live without yet. I like how the gray with that ice worked out. Ooh, long skinny things to cut always make me nervous because I'm always afraid I'm just gonna mess up the cut. But I just do think that I did pretty good with that one. Ugh. Now we've got this stuff. That's hard. Okay. Probably not gonna get all the way in there. We're gonna try our darndest. So I don't want to make it so weak that it's suddenly structurally unsound as well. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So now we're gonna bring over our paper that we made earlier, which should be dry by now. So let me just get all this trash out of the way here. And then I will, oops, I accidentally dropped some on the floor there. Let me go ahead and, what do you think, bud?
Talking it to?
I'm talking to the camera. What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like a drink to you?
That does.
Thank you. Careful. Don't lean on the camera thing.
I think it needs a little bit more. Hey, can I add it? Can I add it something?
What were you thinking? I was thinking of adding it onto this. Oh, no, we don't need that, honey.
Yeah, but I want to give it a smiley face.
A smiley face?
Yeah, I want to give it a smiley face.
You want to draw a smiley face on? Why don't you come over here and draw the smiley face? Ah, come around here. Come over here. Ronan, are you going to come over? You can always pause your video for a second, honey. We might be getting a smiley face for our lemon. Ronan, come here. Oh, did the minions do something silly? All right, what do you think? Where do you want to put a smiley face at? Oops, you dropped the pencil.
And I can't really see it.
That's okay, I see a smile. Here, let me help you with that. So if we're gonna do a smiley face, we can go whoop.
I want to do this so it can see everything.
You like that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy. All right, so now we've got it with a smiley face. And we will later on probably have to put some fixative on this to make sure it doesn't get all wacky. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double check everything. It does feel pretty dry. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put some glue on it. I'm just gonna take my finger and wipe the glue around. It's just plain Elmer's glue. I'm a simple creature, full of habit. Boop, boop. All right. So I think we're pretty glued there. And then I'm just gonna flip it around. Set it something like that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a towel to get this glue off of me. And I'm just gonna gently press it in. To get it down. And so that my son's smiley face shows up better, one thing that I will certainly do is I'm going to take a purple and I'm going to draw over what he did there. That way the smiley face shows up better. There we go. I'm just gonna keep pressing it down. Make sure we get all the little edges here, all the corners. And so on this one, we've got stripes. We've got a jelly paper, because the whole page is a jelly paper. We've got stamps, which I already had plenty of. But we also have a draw your own cup, which is pretty cool. So let me just kind of hold it up to the camera a little bit better so you can see it. And if you stayed with me through this journey, thank you so much. I appreciate you.